Hello, everyone. My name is Sarafi, and I'm happy to meet you all. Today, on the fourth episode of the Fools Rush In podcast, I'm joined by another one of my colleagues, the Guru with the Galactic Eyes, also known as the Cosmic Guru or Goldmine. Gold, it's a pleasure to have you with me.
Hello, everybody.
So, for those of you that don't know, Gold is the Galaxy Eyes Guru. He really enjoys uh, Galaxy Eyes, Photon Dragon, and the other cards associated with Kite Tenjo from the Zexal anime. Uh,
Yes,
Gold,
sir.
you are also excited for Rush Duels. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm. There's one deck that I'm actually excited to play. It's Gavin's deck, like the ruler deck. Like,
All right, so you're really excited to play the high level warrior deck. Sure, I
yeah,
think that a lot of people are also excited for that. And there have been a lot of new leaks today, a lot of new cards that have come out, before the box was officially revealed. We've only got 2 days before the deck comes out, so it's really exciting. Let's take a look at some options here. But before we do anything like that, um, let's watch. Let me share my screen real quick. Uh, let's watch the Gavin animation real quick.
Come forth, Yami Ruler, the Dark Delayer!
But how do you keep your
All right,
I
so what do you
do.
think about that?
It's actually a really great animation. I really love that animation. Like,
So
it really resembles how I saw it in the anime.
yeah, it definitely looks a lot like the anime. I I'm kind of mad that the guy who leaked it cut off his summoning chant, so I don't know what he's saying before he summons it. But I really like Gavin's voice in this. He sounds very forceful, very aggressive, which is a change for his character. But it's a change I think is for the better. It suits him very well. So, and I feel like it will help differentiate him from Luke and Yuga better. So I'm looking forward to that. The animation itself is fine. The compared to the Switch, the eye glow looks better in my opinion, but I'm not a fan of the chair. I think the chair is weird.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know why are you sitting on a chair in the middle of a battlefield? It doesn't make sense. But otherwise, looks great. I'm looking forward
I,
to it.
I mean, we got Caliuga. I probably pronounced that wrong, but we got Caliuga.
That is a
It's
throw.
probably
That is different. All right. Okay. Let's take a look. Let's not waste any time. We've got uh, new cards spoiled from a content creator who went to Konami and showed off the Rush Duel uh, game, but we got to see his collection. So, and we also got to see some cards in the shop. So, first of all, we have a confirmation that all of the main cast's cards will be URs in the box, and then joining them will be Karibot, Dragonic Slayer, and Dark Magician Girl. None of that is surprising. Karibot maybe is not worth a UR slot, but otherwise, these cards are all very good. But we also got confirmation, to the shock of most people, that Multi-Strike Dragon Dragius and Yami Ruler the Dark Delayer will be limited to 3. Gold, your thoughts?
I do think that is fair because that prevents both from being like thrown into a deck that just has the best cards and just beats down the opponent.
That's fair. I do think that it will be. I do think that the skill limitations try to stop people from running too many cards outside of their type, but it is entirely possible that a control deck that focuses solely around Multi-Strike Dragon Dragius and Torn of the Windweaver and Yami Ruler the Dark Delayer would kind of be the best deck just with no skill. Um, I don't know. I feel like they should let us kind of experiment with that. I know that the goal of Duel Links is to promote playing cards to the anime, but this is legitimately the first time people in the West have been able to play Rush Duels. So I feel like we should have the most freedom as possible, but I can respect them trying to kind of stick to the theme of Duel Links.
I can also see how they would see it as broken because dragonic pressure, like you you have Yami rule, you get dragons on the field, and then you just well, not necessarily use dragons before, but like if you have like 3 dragons plus Yami rule, I can see how that would be broken if
mhm.
they were all
Yeah, I
like
would agree with
all.
that.
Also, it seems like Phantom Bind is gonna really be a staple here.
Phantom
Like
Bind is a very good card. Yes. Okay, let's talk. Let me read the description real quick. Okay, so Phantom Bind is a super rare trap card. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, the attacking monster loses attack equal to the number of monsters with the same type in your opponent's graveyard times 100 until the end of this turn. Gold, please continue.
hmm, for the first few decks, it's really just gonna be about one type. So it's like you said before, we can't really do the mixed type. So this is gonna be a really powerful staple at the start. Look, you're gonna want 3 of these.
I do think that so far we haven't seen any other traps that we would consider. There may be traps in the drops or in the characters' level ups, but this is the only trap that we saw in the box. Not even the only good trap, just the only trap at all, which is surprising. So, yes, I do think this card will see plenty of play because it's basically the only option. It also allows you to counter Climax Finale, which will be probably one of the biggest strategies for Psychics going forward. And countering Climax Finale will probably be good enough. It's interesting that Phantom Bind also really hurts dragons in particular, because cards like Twin Edge Dragon and Multi Strike Dragon Dragius, because they attack twice, having their attack points cut by a certain amount doubles the effect, basically. Um, so if, for example, you were able to cut Twin Edge Dragon's attack points by 700 because it can attack you twice, you would only take 600 points of damage as opposed to 2,000, thus essentially saving you twice as many life points as the card would have done to any other card. So Phantom Bind is going to see tons of play, and to counter that, we will see Hammer Crush being used to try and destroy it. Um, that back and forth is probably pretty healthy for the game to start with, although I do hope to see more trap card options besides Phantom Bind in this first batch, because it will be kind of boring if everyone knows that Phantom Bind is the card that's set.
That is true. That is true. I do hope we get more options for disruption. Whereas right now, from what we're seeing, it looks like there's not going to be that many.
hmm Now, the Gavin deck in particular might be resistant to Phantom Bind because Gavin is allowed to use warriors, winged beasts, and monsters with less than 1,400 attack. Oh, warriors, winged beasts, and fairies. So, um, so there aren't really any good fairies to start with, but we do have a lot of excellent winged beast cards. So, have you thought at all about potentially combining your cards like Kime Ruler and Yami Ruler with Lightning Bolt Condor and Darkness Crested Hawk?
Actually, considering that, because as of right now, we don't have enough good enough warrior monsters to have a solo warrior deck, and like you said, it helps play past Phantom Bind. So I think it would be a great idea to combine both, and have have a way for you can have Yami Ruler to stun the opponent, and then you can have Lightning Full Core to strike.
Mm-hmm. That should be interesting. We'll have to see how good Lightning Bolt Condor is without the skill to buff it, because the skill to buff it requires only Wing Beasts and Spellcasters. But the Kime Ruler skill is really good as well, and we'll get into that in a minute. Let's see. A few other cards that were spoiled that we weren't expecting. Spice, the Elite Noodle Ninja. Level 7 Fire Pyro Monster with 2200 attack and 0 defense. Send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. All face-up Pyro monsters on your field gain attack equal to the number of normal monsters in your graveyard times 100 until the end of this turn. This effect is very reminiscent of Prima Gitarna, the Shining Superstar, where you get to buff your entire board by a certain number of attack points. Therefore, it benefits mostly a deck that floods the board. but the effect is significantly weaker, and at the same time, it doesn't cost you life points. However, Spice does have the same stats as Prima Guitarna. Level 7 with 2200 to start. So what are your thoughts, Gold? Do you think that the Elite Noodle Ninja deck has a chance?
Actually, looking at both sets, like I'm gonna go check the sets real quick again, but I do think we have enough pyro monsters for it to be good enough. Like for it to compete.
There is a skill that's been leaked, but we don't know who's going to get it, which allows a normal summon pyro monster. I don't think Spice itself can do it, but weaker monsters gains 400 attack points. I have the skill pulled up here. Let me check. Select one pyro monster with 1300 attack or less, or one level 5 or higher monster that was normal summon this turn. Oh, okay. So yes, Spice could get it to gain 400 attack until the end of this turn. This skill can only be used once per turn if you get in the duel with a deck that contains at least 6 pyro normal monsters with 1300 or less attack, and only monsters that are either fire monsters with 2400 attack or less and 0 defense, level 4 or lower monsters, and normal pyro monsters. So if Spice gains 400 attack points, that makes it 2600, and if you tributed 2 normal monsters to summon it, it gives itself another 200 attack points, plus it could mill a third monster when it's with its effect. That is 2800, and you could do that every single turn. And 2800 is enough to beat over Yami Ruler, the Dark Delayer. It's enough to beat over Multi-Strike Dragon Dragius. It's enough to beat over Seven's Robe Magician. This could be an option.
I definitely do think it's gonna be an option in the meta.
I think
Like as far as I'm concerned, there's gonna be like 5 decks that are playable right now.
Mhm.
Like it's all like obviously the main 4, but like I feel like there's gonna be a 5th deck that's also gonna be playable because looking at the recent box, you can see that there are like cards that make like pilots, like we said. I also feel like you can mix it up with other stuff to have.
Well, there's obviously the Volt Condor deck as well. So you can have. So I feel like there's going to be 5 decks base because there's the main 4 casts, and then there's also the structure deck. Then there might be a 6th deck, depending on what cards could be available. But 5 decks to start with is definitely going to make the meta pretty interesting.
Okay.
Have you looked at the structure deck at all?
I'm checking it right now, actually. Like,
Yeah, let's look at it together then. So for
I
people that
I have seen Popularity, which one of the cards I'm playing. Well, not necessarily. This was before I really thought about using Lightning Full Core.
Mhm.
But before I was planning on combining like Warriors and Wing Beasts for Gavin.
Yeah. So this deck is going to be free on release. Everyone will get 1 copy. And then it's not an EX structure deck, which means that you can purchase an additional copy for only 500 gems. And then you can purchase the 3rd copy for money if you want to. There will be, it looks like, I believe, at least 4 structure deck exclusive cards, if not more. Because we've seen that Mystic Dealer and Trick Pigeon and Dark Sorcerer and Fire Golem are actually in the box as well as being in the structure deck, which is interesting. That does mean that people who don't want to buy 3 copies of the box can still get 3 copies of the rares in the box. But I don't know that Darkness Approaches will be available anywhere. Although you can get 3 copies of this just by buying the box. That's fine. Okay. So we have Lightning Bolt Condor and we have Darkness Crested Hawk. And the skill that you're supposed to use with this Lightning Shift allows you to, during the turn you have summoned a level 7 or higher monster, change one of your opponent's monsters to light until the end of the turn. And then if you have a face-up Lightning Bolt Condor on your field, you can select a level 4 or lower light attribute Winged Beast monster from your graveyard and return it to your hand. And that could be one of the monsters that you tributed to tribute summon Lightning Bolt Condor. So that's an extremely good effect. Both Lightning Bolt Condor and Darkness Crested Hawk care about the attributes of your opponent's monsters. If you change a monster's attribute to light, then Darkness Crested Hawk can gain 1,000 attack points until the end of the turn. making it 3,100, able to beat over even Blue Eyes White Dragon. Whereas Lightning Bolt Condor can force all monsters on the opponent's field that share an attribute with the card you discard to lose attack and defense points equal to that monster's level times 300. So if we discarded a card like Luminous Parent, for example, all light monsters on the opponent's field would lose 1,200 attack and defense points, and the skill gives us 1. Then the opponent might have another one, or we could use Luminous Parrot's effect to change it to a light monster, and as long as we could impact multiple light monsters, like, for example, we normal summon Luminous Parrot, we activate its effect to change one of the opponent's monsters to light. Then we tribute it, summon Volt Condor, activate the skill, change another monster to light. Then we can discard Luminous Parrot, both of those monsters lose 1,200 attack points, and we go in for some serious damage.
Oh, definitely.
Yep.
That definitely seems like it would do a lot of damage.
Yes, and okay, let's if you don't mind, they actually leaked gameplay of this. We could watch it. Do you want to watch it?
Sure.
Okay. Do you want to watch it in Japanese or English?
Either one, like either one is fine.
Okay. Hold on. Let me.
Rush dueling against Luke is always a blast. As your future king, I promise I won't let you down, Yuga. Here I go! Get ready for the rush! I'm gonna end this quick. My turn. I draw. I set a card. I set a card. I'll set a monster. I'm setting a card. I'm ending my turn. I'm gonna speed up this duel. It's my turn. I draw. Dark Sorcerer. Dark Sorcerer. A wall. A mountain. Not even a planet can block my way. Nothing will stop my road to victory. Seven's Road Magician. I set a card. Seven's Road Magician activates his effect. Elemental Road! Okay, let's battle! Seven's Road Magician, attack! Seven's Magic Attack! With that, I end my turn. I'm gonna end this quick. My turn. I draw. Sports Dragon Pitcher. Twin Edge Dragon. Triad Drago! Things are about to get heavy! Gravity Press Dragon! Triad Drago activates its effect! 7 stars collide to burst into a supernova! You're not ready for this! You're so not ready for this! Rise into the light! Multi-Strike Dragon Dragius!
I feel like without as many disruptions as the regular Rush Duel would have, I feel like Dragon is going to be much stronger than it originally was. Especially in a format where we only got 600 life points.
6,000.
Yeah, 6,000.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's definitely going to be like in the top tier 1 or 2.
That's definitely a possibility. We'll have to see. There hasn't been a skill release that specifically seems like it benefits Dragius all that much yet. But the card itself is probably good enough without a skill, just like Yami Ruler. So it depends on the other cards that we'll see in the meta. I do lean towards Dragius probably being one of the best decks, but I feel like the skill that Psychics get is going to push it over the top a little bit just because it's so oppressive. We'll get to that.
What is the skill? What is the skill? Oh, we're gonna get to that later.
Yeah, we're still in the middle of this duel. We'll get to it.
King of Duels is unstoppable, bro! I activate Dragius's effect! Double Doom! Get ready to battle! Dragius, attack! Concussive Electrostatic Shock Ball! You sure that's gonna work? I'll use this card I set. I activate my trap. You serious? Ugh. Keep it coming! I got plenty of tricks saved for later. I end my turn. Here I go. It's my turn. I draw. Luminous Parrot! Luminous Parrot activates its effect. Okay. I summon a monster. The sky, the land, not even the ocean can slow me down. Soar to the clouds, Lightning Bolt Condor! I'm loading my road to victory!
Actually,
Luminous
thinking about it
Parrot!
now, wouldn't you say my attributes? Lucas' attributes are also mostly single. He's mostly a single attribute, so Lightning Condor can beat it.
That's correct. And well, I mean, he did have to change both of their attributes, but yes, now that both attributes on the field are lights, because he used Luminous Parrot first, and then he used the skill second. Now he's normal summoning Luminous Parrot to give himself an extra body on the board, and he's going to activate Lightning Bolt Condor's effect and discard a second Lightning Bolt Condor to make all of his opponent's monsters lose 2,100 attack and defense points.
Ah.
Activate Lightning Bolt Condor's effect! Voltic Shock Burst! Seven's Rogue Magician activates his effect! Elemental Road! Time to battle! This'll do! I attack with my monster! Ah! This isn't good! Seven's Rogue Magician, attack! Seven's Magic Attack! You sure that's gonna work? I'll play my set card. I activate a trap! What? Now! Direct attack!
So as we can see here, this is exactly what I was describing. Yuga was less impacted by the effect of Phantom Bind than Luke was, because his deck is a mixture of spellcasters and wing beasts. Because Luke's deck is entirely dragons, his monster lost the battle, and that completely ended his turn.
It's gonna be a lot more fun meta. Like, it's not going to be completely one side where there's one particular deck that's going to beat down every other deck.
Mm. Yep.
That's one thing I will like. That's just not. There's a back and forth.
Mm-hmm. All right. The other cards that are in the box, that in the structure deck that we're getting for free, we're getting 3 copies of Spell Archer, which is a level 3 normal spellcaster with 1,000 attack and 400 defense. The primary benefit of this card is that it's wind, so it gives you an additional attribute for Seven's Robe Magician's effect. We're also getting Harpy Girl, which is not good. Not going to see any play. Hydra Magician is a level 5 water spellcaster. This card would potentially see some play if we were not also getting Excel Super Magician, but because that's one of Yuga's confirmed level ups, this card will probably see no play at all, which is why it's a neutral. Strange Cat.
Fair.
Strange Cat is an Earth spellcaster, but it has there are a few skills that are specifically around Strange Cat. So Strange Cat will probably see some like unique play in meme decks, and that's great. I love Strange Cat, and I think this meme is great. Flame Manipulator is fire, and because it is fire, it will see play in exactly the Road Explosion deck, which is going to be funny to play. And then Darkness Approaches is interesting. This card exists in the real game, and it's not. It doesn't see a whole lot of play there, but when you can draw 5 cards every turn, discarding 2 cards to Book of Moon isn't that terrible.
That is true. That is true.
So
And it can negate Nami Ruler if that comes down to it.
that is correct. This card will negate Yami Ruler. So I think this card actually is a sleeper. I don't know that it's going to see meta play, but I do think that decks that are not meta will use it to try and compensate for dealing with other powerful strategies.
End up being more like a side deck card. Like if you're not going to use it in the main deck, you can play in your side deck and then have it for your next duel.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then also, this structure deck is how we get Torn of the Windweaver. Torn of the Windweaver is not in the box. This is a level 6 wind spellcaster with 1600 attack and 1000 defense. By discarding a card from your hand at the graveyard, you can change the battle position of one monster on your opponent's field. It will force monsters that are face down into face up attack position.
So that is pretty powerful.
Yes, this will make up for the fact that Pierce is a UR. I think that spellcasters will use 3 copies of Torn of the Windweaver without question. There is also a card in this box. This is a neutral card. Sorry, this is a normal rarity card. It is called Giant Tortoise of Greed. When your opponent normal summons a monster, you draw 2 cards. Now, Gold, do you think this card is good or bad?
Honestly, I don't think this card is that good.
Why is that?
I feel like by the time you get, as of right now, I feel like by the time you get to use that effect, like there's no point in the cards in your hand during your opponent's turn. So and I'm pretty sure there's no traps that require you to discard anything. So this drawing too doesn't seem that good when you just draw 5 on your turn, unless you already have 5.
So there you go. Yes, that was what I was waiting for. Yes. So the reason this card is a trap, like an actual noob trap. So for people out there who were thinking this card might be good because drawing 2 cards, this is double Jar of Greed. The reason why this card exists in Rush Duels is because if you pass to your opponent and then you just came back to you draw until you have 5 cards in your hand. But it's only until you have 5 cards in your hand, not 5. So if you have 0 cards in your hand, you draw 2 cards during your opponent's turn, then you only get to draw 3 cards at the start of your turn. So you end up with 5 cards either way, but you used up a card to do it. Now, is Giant Tortoise of Greed potentially a bait card? Is it easier to get out of your hand when you have 3 monsters? Yes, but it's not that good of an effect. Now, there are some traps that require discards. In particular, there is a card called Vengeful Dragon Strike, which when a dragon monster is destroyed by battle, you can discard a card to destroy 1 card on your opponent's field. But that card is not a card that we've seen yet. And I don't think that Giant Tortoise of Greed will be necessary to facilitate that card either, because I think dragons will be able to keep a card in their hand for that card when it comes out. But I just wanted to go over why this card was bad, because I didn't want people to get lured by the fact that it's a trap card.
Understandable.
All right, so you were interested in what's going on with the Psychics, so we have gameplay footage of that as well. Let's take a look.
Ready, Romin? I know this Rush Duel is gonna be great!
Sure, Yuga. Let's do this.
Here we go!
Get ready for the rush!
I'm gonna speed up this duel!
I meant to mention this after the last duel and I forgot. They are really tempting me with that mat. that mat that has all of their ace monsters that just like changes between them. I might actually drop some cash on that.
Oh, that doesn't seem so bad. Like I'm pretty sure the mats are pretty fair price if you do.
Yeah, no, but here, watch it while the duel is going on. Like, it literally switches between all 4 of their ace monsters. It looks great.
Duel! It's my turn! I draw! Mystic Dealer! Mystic Dealer activates his effect! I'll set a monster! Dark Sorcerer! I'm gonna set a card! With that, I end my turn!
I'll knock you out from the very first tune. My turn. I draw. What Angel? Watch me take the stage. I'm setting a card. What Angel? Very Gatarna, the shining superstar, is here in Duel Links!
I really like that animation. I really like that.
It looks great, yes. And it's interesting that she like calls out Duel Links. I don't think anyone's ever done that in their animation before. But she, I guess it's like it makes sense because like if you were actually playing a show, you would say something like "Hello, London." I think that's what it's supposed to be.
Ah.
Yeah. So it's a cute idea. Like Romin is very clearly an experienced musician in an actual band. The way she acts.
I remember watching one of the episodes. I remember seeing that. So yes.
I set a card. Prima Gatarna activates her effect. Let 'em hear your riff. Rock and refrain. Battle!
All right, I want to take a moment to point this out. Romin is the first character I have ever seen who does not take a damaged sprite or make a sound when she pays life points. So,
Actually,
with other
it
Duel...
must be because.
Good?
Oh, you go ahead. I was about to.
So every other Duel Links character, when they pay life points, they say "ah" or something like that, and then their damage sprite shows as if they were taking damage. But Romin does not. Go ahead with what you're saying.
That must be because her deck is so focused around getting to 1,000 life points. She's used to that, so there's no point of playing that sound because that's the point of her deck.
I imagine it's probably just that like it's gonna play so often that they probably just thought that it would be annoying. It is very interesting though. In the actual show, she doesn't seem that bothered by paying life points. Although a lot of the times that she's paying a lot of life points, it's when she's like aggressively into the duel, so she's not paying so much attention. But then again, there's no like Shadow Realm or anything heavy like that in Sevens, so I guess it makes sense that there's no like feeling pressure or feeling pain from your monsters when you lose life points. It's a really like a very kiddish game, so I guess that's that. But let's continue.
Prima Gatarna! Play 'em off the stage! Melodic Maelstrom! Very basic! Attack!
You're not gonna win that easily!
I have plenty of surprises in store for later. I end my turn.
I'm gonna speed up this duel! It's my turn! I draw! Fire Golem! Anything is possible in a Rush Duel!
Anything is possible on a Rush Duel, so I can cheat.
Yes. So this skill, Magician Shuffle, allows him to, if he has a spellcaster with at least 1,700 defense points, he can reveal it to draw a spellcaster with 1,700 or more defense points from his deck to his hand. They have to both be dark. So basically, you reveal Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, you add the other one, and then you have to discard one of them. And so the idea is that you will play 3 copies of Dark Magician Girl, you add Dark Magician to your hand, discard it, and then you can play Dark Magician Girl. And Dark Magician Girl has been buffed. So because there's only one Dark Magician allowed in both players' decks, Dark Magician Girl gains 500 attack points for each Dark Magician in either player's graveyard.
Come on out! Tribute Summon! Dark Sorcerer! Okay, let's battle! Now! Attack!
Not bad.
This duel's only getting started! I end my turn!
Watch this. It's my turn. I draw. What Kiss? Guitar Kid!
Alright, now here you're going to see exactly what I'm saying about the psychic skill.
Ready to get amped up? Prima Gatarna, the shining superstar is here in Duel Links! Let's give this crowd a send-off they'll never forget. I activate Climax Finale! I'm gonna play the greatest gig in history! I'm setting a card. Let's give this crowd a send-off they'll never forget. I activate Climax Finale! Let's give this crowd a send-off they'll never forget. I activate Climax
Yeah, 3 of
Finale!
those, bro.
Guitar Kid!
Oh my god.
Sorry, what were you saying?
She had 3 of those.
So she had 2, and then okay. So here's what happened. On turn 2, she summoned a monster, and then she activated her skill Climax Beat, which is during the turn that you summon a level 2 monster, you can set 1 Climax Finale or 1 Lullaby from your deck or your graveyard. So she got to search, which Rush Duels don't really search. So a skill that searches is insane. She got to search Climax Finale for no cost, whereas Yuga had to discard a card to search Dark Magician. She set it face down. Then she was able to activate it, and then even though her level 2 monster was off the field, because she had summoned it to tribute summon Prima Guitarna, after activating the first Climax Beat, she was able to activate the skill again, and then set it face down from her graveyard. So she only drew 1 Climax Finale, and then she used the skill over 2 turns to get 2 more activations of it to give herself an additional 1,000 attack points. And this is just Climax Finale. She could also be getting Lullabind if she needed it, and Lullabind is a Book of Moon that doesn't cost anything. It's not like Darkness Approaches, where Darkness Approaches requires you to discard 2 cards. Lullabind is if you have at least 2 psychic monsters on your field, turn 1 monster on your opponent's side of the field to face down defense position.
I see now.
Yes. So this skill is insane. All it requires is that you summon a level 2 monster every single turn, which you're going to do, because you have so many.
Set a card! Prima Guitarna! Let's get this place pumping! Rock and refrain! Battle! This melody will change the world!
Okay. so this is an example of how Rush looks. She was able to take a monster that she started the turn with nothing. She started the turn with Berry Bassist. And she was able to get a level 7 monster on the field with 2,200 attack points and raise its attack points by 2,400. And her opponent could do nothing about it. There are no negates. There are no chains. There's nothing that you can do to stop your opponent from doing everything they want to do on their turn. And because they can refill their hand so much, because they're able to use monster effects, because they're able to use skills to add additional cards, you end up with a game that seems extremely one-sided during the player's turn, but it's still very difficult to actually OTK. So it creates these like really epic, really high-powered moments that's very memorable without being unfair to either side. Because when Yuga's turn comes around, he could do something crazy too.
That is fair.
Prima Guitarna!
I will give Rush
Melodic
Duels that it has a
Mista!
lot more back and forth compared to regular Yu-Gi-Oh! Even though I do prefer regular Yu-Gi-Oh! Myself.
Well, you don't know yet. You haven't played it yet.
Hey, I'm just saying, as of right now. But I'll see what Rush Duels can do.
That's right. Yeah, it's going to be really fun. So let's go ahead and let's finish this up.
Can't let that happen! I set this card earlier for this moment! I activate my trap! That was nothing!
Play on the tune! My monster's gonna...
Okay, and that's exactly what I said earlier. So, Phantom Bind negates Climax Finale. Because Climax Finale's effect is you gain attack points equal to the number of psychic monsters in your graveyard, and Phantom Bind is the attacking monster loses attack points equal to the number of monsters that share a type with it in their graveyard. So the effects are literally polar opposites. Now, that saved his life. He's about to go down to 300, and he stripped 500 attack points off of Prima Guitarna. So, clutch card to use against Psychics, and because Psychics are so explosive, I think that a Phantom Bind will be needed at 3. But the big question is, are the Psychic players just going to be able to hammer crush all the Phantom Binds off the field? We'll have to see.
Attack! Play of a tune! My monster's gonna attack! Hang on! I end my turn.
Even if the odds aren't on my side, I won't give up. My turn. I draw. I'll set a monster. I'll set a monster. I set a monster. I'm gonna set a card. I'm not going down that easily. I end my turn.
I may be down, but I'm still jamming. My turn. I draw. This headliner's here to thrash the competition. Let's rock. Boulder Blitz the Infinite Dream. I'll play this. I summon a monster. I set a card. Here we go. Let's...
Okay, so Romin is in a very interesting position right now. She is supposed to be losing, because that's what Psychic monsters do. And because she's not losing, she's not able to activate either of her monster's effects. Boulder Blitz the Infinite Dream requires your opponent to have 2,000 or more life points than you to activate its effect. And Telepathic Agent requires you to have 1,000 or less life points than your opponent. But because Yuga is so low, she can't use either effect.
I see now.
Telepathic Agent gets to attack directly. So it's an interesting balance, right? The card only has 1,000 attack points, and the opponent has to have 1,000 more life points than you when you activate its effect, which means that they have to have over 1,000 life points for you to be able to attack directly with this 1,000 attack point monster. But since you can get Climax Finale, if let's say you have 1,200 life, or you have 200 life points, and your opponent has 1,200 life points, you could then activate the effect, and then you can activate Climax Beat. And there's another part of Climax Beat which I didn't mention, which is every time you activate Climax Beat, if your life points are 1,000 or less, you can gain 1,000 life points.
I see.
So that, but basically what that does is that means that Romin can activate Prima Guitarna's effect every single turn, because she gains 1,000 life points that she can pay. But it also gives her life points to pay for Climax Finale. So if she's at 200 life points and her opponent is at 1,200, she activates the skill. She sets Climax Finale, or no, she doesn't activate the skill. First, she activates the monster effect to check if she has 1,000 less life points than her opponent. Then she gets the ability to attack directly this turn, activate the skill, set Climax Finale, gain 1,000 life points so she can pay for Climax Finale, activate Climax Finale, pay 700 life points, give her monster 700 attack points, then she gets to attack directly for game. So it's a very good card. Telepathic Agent is an extremely good card to use in Psychics. And then, of course, Folder Blitz is insane, because Folder Blitz burns your opponent for 1,500 life points, which is crazy. No Esperade. There's no Esperade in this deck that we can see, but maybe we don't need Esperade yet if we get Folder Blitz and Telepathic Agent. The skill does seem to be doing most of the work, though.
Battle!
I wonder what
Boulder
the
Blitz!
level rewards are gonna look like. Like we've seen the AI, I'm pretty sure, but we haven't seen the the level rewards except for Yuga.
So we know that Lullabind is in the box. That's been revealed. I imagine that Climax Finale will be one of her level up rewards, because she kind of has to have it. Prima Guitarna and Folder Blitz the Infinite Dream have both been confirmed to be in the box. So maybe one of the level 2s, maybe Watt Angel is going to be one of her level up rewards. Which would be kind of bad, considering that Yuga got some really good cards for his level ups. I mean, I assume that Climax Finale is going to be one of them, and Climax Finale is one of the best cards for Psychics. But we just don't know enough yet. Berry Basis is also in the box, so Berry Basis is not going to be one of them. And we haven't seen her play any other big cards, so I just don't know yet.
It'll come. I do think
Reverberating!
Oh yeah, I mean it's only 2 days. The hype is real. We gotta see. Okay, so
I'm
we're looking at a typical rush turn of I'm losing and I didn't draw the out, so I set 3 and pass. And in this instance, it
bro.
works.
Sonic Strike! Alright! My monster's gonna attack! Alright! I attack with my monster! Show isn't over yet! I end my turn!
Even if the odds aren't on my side, I won't give up. My turn. I draw. Kari.
So this feels bad. He has Karibot, and he has a Karibot in his graveyard. The perfect time to use Karibot's effect, but he can't because Karibot requires you to pay 500 life points.
Yeah, I hate to see it.
Oof.
But he can't. But he can summon 7 roads. He can summon 7 roads.
He can definitely summon 7 roads, but if he was able to get Karibot back, it would give him more options to like tribute with.
True.
Now remember, the face down card that he has is Dark Magic Attack.
Oh, I see.
Come on out.
What?
I see now.
Yep.
What he's planning to do.
I summon a monster. Gotta take a risk to get the rewards.
Okay, so here's the issue, right? He can get Dark Magician back, and he can use Dark Magician to get rid of both of these set cards. One of them could be a trap. But if he does that, he can't kill Romin, because 2,500 into 1,000 is only going to deal 1,500. He could also take a risk and play Seven's Road and kill her. He chooses to go with the Dark Magician play for the safer route, but that means that he is not in a good position.
Okay. Tribute summon.
Okay, that was a little... Did you see that? That was a little effect that seems to play whenever you summon a legend card.
I wonder what the legend what effects is gonna play for the legend spells and traps. Since we're gonna be so we're able to use one of each.
Yep. Well, as soon as I can tell you, as soon as we get Graceful Charity, I'm not playing anything else. Graceful Charity gonna be the only legend spell I ever need. Thank you very much. You can keep your Monster Reborns all you want.
I set this card earlier for this moment. I activate my spell card. Okay, let's battle now. I attack with my monster.
So the opponent has to attack Prima Guitarna here, because Prima Guitarna can just kill on board. So he has to kill Prima Guitarna because of her effect, and then he passes, and that leaves him in a very bad spot.
I'm still in this.
There's nothing more exciting than making a huge comeback. I end my turn.
I may be down, but I'm still jamming. My turn. I draw. What Angel? My guitar's ready.
And here we go. So because once again she can activate Climax Beat, his careful play was pointless. He should have just gone for the Seven's Road play and tried to win the duel, because by playing Dark Magician and passing when she has the ability to just get Climax Finale back, he's just going to lose. There's nothing he can do about it.
Ready to rip! I set a card. Let's give this crowd a send-off they'll never forget. I activate Climax Finale. Battle! Time for the grand finale! And there'll be no encore. Boulder Blitz! Attack! Reverberating Sonic Strike! Ah!
So she was able to activate Climax Finale 3 times during that duel solely because of her skill. That was an additional 1,800 attack points for her monsters. and there was no cost. She didn't have to discard a card. She didn't have to return a card from her hand to her deck. She got to set a card from her deck to the field and then continue to get it back from her graveyard. All she had to do every single turn was normal summon a level 2 monster. So this is... Now, the restrictions on the skill are pretty heavy. You can only use psychic monsters with 2400 or less attack and no other monsters. But that just makes Climax Finale better because all your monsters are the same type. And then really the ability to gain 1,000 life points is excessive. That's crazy. I understand that Prima Guitarna has a very heavy cost if you only have 6,000 life points, but that's why we should have gotten 8,000 life points. This is not the way to handle this problem, and I don't know how healthy this is going to be. I mean, I'm thrilled. This is the deck that I wanted to build. I'm definitely gonna build it, and I'm gonna win this tournament with this deck. I'm calling it right now. I'm going for first place on Thursday.
You ain't calling it that soon, bro. You just wait.
We'll see. We'll see. You and me. We're going to meet each other in the finals on Thursday, but I'm feeling good about this deck. All right. Let's see. Okay, so we have Watkiss and Kitar Kid as 2 level 2 monsters, so you can run 3 of each of these. That's 6 level 2 monsters. Oh, and then there's Wat Angel, which is also level 2, so that's 3 level 2 monsters for a total of 9 in your 30-card deck. So you can very easily trigger the skill every single turn. You only need to run 1 copy of Climax Finale, only 1 copy of Lullaby, and then you just search them whenever you need them, and you will constantly win like every game. So incredible. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, back to...
That is actually very interesting.
Yes, it's a lot of fun. Back to the you can either get the Sevens World the natural way at the stage 10 of DM Duel Links World, or by fast tracking it by picking up the Lightning Bolt Condor deck. I believe during the promotion the deck is free and immediately unlocks Rush Duels instead of... Oh, cool. So we don't even have to
That's
unlock
helpful for new players, but like for the old players, we're just gonna unlock the world immediately through either case because the pack is free.
So new players actually are gonna start in Rush Duels. So they released a there was a I think it's called The Gamer. There's a magazine that released an article about this, which I posted in the chat on like the Duel Links chat, and they got confirmation from Konami that every account that's created after September 28th will start in Sevens, and they instead of starting with DM.
I don't know if that's gonna affect things for newer players, cause
I mean newer players will probably like Rush Duels better than they like the new game, the regular game, to be honest.
But I think for someone who's coming in for speed duels, like not necessarily to hate on Rush Duels, but for someone who may be coming in just to play like regular Yu-Gi-Oh, I can see where that can be disappointing for them, that they have to play through Rush Duels first.
Yeah, but I feel like after 6 years of Duel Links, anyone who wants to play the game for regular Yu-Gi-Oh is already here.
True.
So I feel like all the new players would be people who are just learning about it, and then the new people who want to start playing Yu-Gi-Oh definitely have a better time in Rush Duels than they do like dealing with cards like Dingirsu.
That is fair.
All right, let's talk about the other cards that we've got. So we have Umegumi the Ruler's Squad as a super rare in the box. Level 6 Earth Warrior with 1600 attack and 0 defense. If a face-up defense position monster is on either side of the field, send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. One face-up monster in your opponent's field loses 500 attack and defense until the end of this turn. So you can use this card if your opponent has a defense position monster because you activated your skill after you summon Kime Ruler. Or you could use this card's effect after you've summoned Yami Ruler and activated its own effect to switch it to defense position. And then Nandez changes your defense position monster to attack position. So you can literally summon Yami Ruler, activate Yami Ruler's effect, then summon Umegumi and activate its effect to reduce one of your opponent's monster's attack points by 500, then summon Nandez and use Nandez's effect to switch Yami Ruler into attack position so that you could still attack with it.
That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool, actually. Or for Ugami, I feel like he's gonna have a problem in the deck because he's another high level monster.
Mm-hmm.
Like because I feel like we're already struggling with high levels as is.
Yes. So this is a card where it's going to be questionable about how good this card is. It also, because it has 0 defense points, a lot of people might not think that 0 defense points matters too much, but this makes the card bad to resurrect with the other level 6 warrior monster, because there's a level 6 warrior monster that you can sacrifice to play 2 warriors from your graveyard in face down defense position, and Umegumi will not be a card that you want to revive in that way, whereas Yami Ruler and Kime Ruler might be. So it might not make the cut for that reason.
True.
Folder Blitz, the Infinite Dream. We just saw this card, level 7 Fire Psychic Monster with 2,300 attack points and 0 defense points. If your opponent's life points are at least 2,000 higher than yours, you burn them for 1,500. That is so good. 100% amazing card. We'll see tons of play in the Prima Guitar deck.
Oh, definitely. That is a crazy good effect.
We'll have to see if it gets nerfed. We don't know if they're going to reduce the burn damage of cards like they do for regular Duel Links.
If they give him the Flame Wingman treatment, bro, it's gonna be so broken.
It will be crazy good. We will have to see. But if they don't reduce the damage for burn cards, then Road Magic Explosion is going to be the card that's really crazy. Berry Bassist, we saw this card in the game, in the show. She's a Dark Psychic monster with 1,600 attack and 0 defense, level 6. If you have a face-up Psychic monster on the field other than this card, pay 500 life points, and you can special summon a level 2 Psychic normal monster from a graveyard to your field. So what you can do is you can normal summon a card like Watt Angel, tribute it to summon Berry Bassist, then activate Berry Bassist, then you summon another monster, like another like Heatar Kid. Then you activate Berry Bassist's effect and revive the other level 2. Then you immediately have 2 monsters that you can tribute summon for Prima Guitarna or Folder Blitz. So this card is essentially a level 6 that pays for its own tribute cost, which is really good because it's 1,600 attack points. So you want 1,600 attack point monsters because they can't be beaten over by any of the level 5s. Or, sorry, any of the level 4s. We've seen multiple times in these PvP duels where someone had to leave a 1,600 attack point monster face up on the field in attack position because they simply didn't have any other monsters to beat over with. Like they attacked the bigger threats with their high level monster, then they didn't have any other high level monsters, so they passed and left the 1,600 attack monster on the field. So level 6 monsters have an inherent benefit of they're too powerful to be beaten over by low level monsters, so they kind of protect your board against one tribute and then low level spam, except for Prima Guitarna.
That is fair. That is fair.
Let's see. Then we have Dark Sorcerer, Mystic Dealer, and Dragorite. Mystic Dealer being in the box means that people do not have to buy 3 copies of the Lightning Bolt Condor structure deck to get a 3rd copy of Mystic Dealer. I'm sure that's going to be very good because Mystic Dealer is one of the best spellcasters in the game. I do still think
definitely.
I do still think most people will want to get 3 copies of the box because Torn the Windweaver is incredibly good. But for those people who don't want to spend any money at all, the fact that Mystic Dealer is available in the box is a very nice benefit. It means that you can get your 3 copies of Mystic Dealer, your 3 copies of Dark Sorcerer, without needing to spend any real-world cash, and Mystic Dealer is a card that you will want to run 3 copies of in every spellcaster deck. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I'll just say, oh, definitely. He's actually very good. Not only can you put a spellcaster in the grave, you also draw another card.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
like he can set up 7 Rose Magician easily.
Mm-hmm. And he's also water, which is a rare attribute for spellcasters. So, very, very good card for the 7's road deck. Dragorite. Okay, so I don't know if you saw this in the first duel that the first full duel that we watched, but Luke has a skill where once per turn, if he controls an Earth Dragon monster that has an effect with at least 1,500 attack points, he can choose 2 Earth monsters on his field with 2,300 or less attack points and increase their attack points by 500 and their level by 4 until the end of the turn. So he was able to raise both Gravity Press Dragon and Dragorite's attack points to 2,000 with that skill.
I saw that during the duel. Like, it actually got quite high. Like, that was a lot of attack.
Yes. So being able to raise your attack points by to 2,000 is incredibly good. Dragorite is already, it's got premier stats for a level 4 because it has 1500 attack points. It's a dragon, which is beneficial for all of the dragon skills, and because it can raise its attack points to 2000 and it's level to 8, which will allow you to activate Dragonic Slayer's effect, which requires you to have another level 7 or higher dragon monster on your field other than this card. This will be a staple. I believe that version of dragons is going to be the best version of dragons. It doesn't benefit Multi-Strike Dragon Dragius to have its attack point. Like Multi-Strike Dragon Dragius can't gain attack points with that skill on purpose. But there doesn't appear to be a skill specifically for Multi-Strike Dragon Dragius, and Dragonic Slayer is an extremely powerful card. So being able to activate its effect multiple times with the skill is very good. Obviously, the reason why Dragonic Slayer is so powerful is because the only spell and trap removal we have is Hammer Crush. Dragonic Slayer gets to pop a spell or trap card on the opponent's field once per turn. The fact that it's once per turn is so powerful because it means that your opponent basically can't rely on spells and traps to make comebacks. They have to try and beat over Dragonic Slayer, and if they're not able to, well, they can't use their trap card to stop Dragonic Slayer and maybe turn things around with a card like Phantom Mine where they could win a battle, because Dragonic Slayer will just destroy that card before the battle starts. And again, there are no chains. When Dragonic Slayer activates effect to destroy a spell or trap card, it's not like the real game where you can chain and respond to by activating the card that would be destroyed. If this card is targeted by Dragonic Slayer, it's gone.
Oh, shoot.
Yes.
That actually makes it much more powerful than I thought it was originally.
Exactly, and that's why it has such a high cost of you having another level 7 dragon on the field. So it's already level 7. Having another level 7, that's normally a pretty bad cost. But the skill making any level 3 Earth Dragon monster level 7 is crazy good. And then giving it 500 attack points on top of it is unnecessary. So like, this will make Dragonic Slayer one of the best cards in the game, hands down.
Oh, definitely. And especially if we only get the one trap we got right now, it's going to make that card even much more strong because you can't stop it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Twin Edge Dragon, we already knew about this card. Like I said before, the fact that Phantom Mine is going to be in the meta so much will make this card worse. Fire Golem, this is a level, this is a psychic. Fire Golem, this is a fire spellcaster with 800 defense points. It will see play in the Burning Road deck for that reason. Sports Dragon Pitcher and Sports Dragon Slayer, these cards are very good for the Dragon deck. There is a Dragon skill that cares about Dark Dragons specifically. I don't know that the skill is good enough. The cards are okay. These two cards basically allow you to tribute summon level 7 dragons fairly easily. But the problem is, for right now, we don't have that many level 7 dragons. Luke's actual deck has like 8 level 7 dragons, which is why these cards are so good in it. So I think these cards will see a lot more play later on when we have additional cards like Illusion Strike Dragon Miragius and Steel Strike Dragon Metalgius. But for right now, go ahead.
Oh, definitely. I feel like as of right now, we're only going to see the starting map, but as the months come by, we're going to start seeing Rush come into his own. But we don't even got fusions yet.
Well, we shouldn't expect fusions for a while. They don't come until the late second season of Rush.
That's fair, that's fair. But I'm just saying, like, as of right now, we are starting to see the early identity of Rush Duels.
We will see maximums before too long, though. But we don't have any maximums yet. Alright. Battle Shark Semegalon. So this is another card like Spice the Elite Noodle Ninja that is a boss monster that is not one of the 4 main casts, so it's interesting to see it in this box, especially as a rare. It's level 7, 2300 attack water fish monster. By discarding a water attribute monster from your hand, you can change one defense position monster on your opponent's field to attack position. That effect is somewhat good. It allows you to basically get Pierce every single turn, except Pierce will be a little bit worse because every monster basically in this game has more attack points than they do defense points. But we probably don't have enough support for Semegalon yet. I imagine this card is mostly in the game for the NPCs to use it. Semegalon will see play when we get Big Yumi, but I don't imagine we're going to get Big Yumi in this box. Maybe we'll get it in the next box. And Big Yumi, for those of you that don't know, is a field spell that states all non-water monsters on the field lose 300 attack and defense points.
Oh, dang. That's actually really good.
Yes, that is how Yumi always should have been. It's an ocean. Like, but fish don't get stronger in the ocean. Everything else just gets weaker. So yes, that is extremely good card. But for right now, we don't have that card. I don't imagine. I mean, if we do, if they print it as a UR in this box, then I will build the Battle Shark Megalon deck. Absolutely, you can see it on my stream. But I'm guessing not. I'm guessing that is not a card that we're gonna get for right now. But it's cool that we're gonna get this card as like a a little option. Probably not gonna have enough water monsters to make it work for right now, but it's a rare. Pick up 3 copies, and then when they give us more support, then you can build the Battle Sharks Megalon deck and have fun with it. Recovery Force. Recovery Force is bad. So this card is shuffle 3 Spellcasters from your graveyard into your deck, draw 1 card. It might see play when we get maximum monsters, because then digging through your deck becomes a little bit more relevant. But for right now, you want your Spellcasters in the graveyard. There's no reason not to have them. I guess you could say that you could try and counter Phantom Bind with this, but Seven's Road Magician cares about...
What? Like, why would you use that card to counter Phantom Bind?
Because it takes Spellcasters out of your graveyard. Then your Spellcasters don't lose as many attack points when they attack into Phantom Bind.
That's fair. I just feel like that'd be a waste of more resources than just to lose your monster and then draw more cards and try to play through it again.
Yes. So yes, I don't think Recovery Force is worth it. And that's probably why it's a rare. It's not. There are better draw cards like Currybot Triple, which we will get later. But for right now, Recovery Force is probably. I mean, it's a cute card. It's got 3 strange cats that are all petting each other, but it's not good. Nandez we talked about. Innocent Lancer. This card makes me angry because this is very clearly supposed to be for the Noodle Ninja deck, and yet the skill prevents you from running it. So, Innocent Lancer, level 6 Fire Pyro monster with 1700 attack and 900 defense. Requirement, send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. Effect, this card gains Piercing this turn. Really good card, especially if you use the skill to give it 400 extra attack points. So that's 2100. Getting Piercing on demand is good, and you could combine it with Spicy Elite Noodle Ninja to get some attack points, and then Pierce for a lot. But the skill...
It's just 100 away. Bro, I really hope that's a mistranslation. Like,
it's not. Well, no. So it's not. It's any level 5 or higher monster that was normal summon this turn. But the problem is, you can't use fire. You have to have fire monsters with 2400 or less attack or less and 0 defense. So because it has 900 defense points, you can't use it.
Oh, bro. I feel like that card got cheated.
Yep, like there's no other use for it. So this is very frustrating. I'm hoping that this is a mistranslation, like you said. Like, it doesn't make sense for them to give us this card right now unless it was supposed to be used in this Pyro deck. So, and if it is in the Pyro deck, this deck has a real shot because a card that has Piercing on demand is very, very good. So, and you could only use the 400 attack. Yeah, you can only give it 400 attack if the turn that it's summoned. So I don't feel like this is fine. Lullaby, this card is extremely good. Dark Magic Attack, this card is bad. Masakai, the Legendary Swordsman, level 4 warrior monster with 1500 attack and 0 defense. This will see play in the Gavin deck. Telepathic Agent I just talked about. Amuzi Performer, another fire psychic monster. Pay 800 life points to burn your opponent for 300. So the primary benefit of this card is that it allows you to lower your own life points. Is that good enough? In a 40-card deck, yes, but in a 30-card deck, maybe not. It's not level 2, and that's actually a huge drawback for it. So I imagine that this will actually be outshone by the level 2 normal monsters just because they have synergy with Very Bassist and Climax Finale. Then we're getting Gazelle, the King of Mythical Beasts, for some reason.
I guess just for nostalgia reasons, because it's not like there's a deck to throw it in.
There is not currently. And then we're also getting Trick Pigeon, which is another card from the structure deck. but that we don't have to buy 3 copies of the structure deck for. Okay. Then there was also a very shocking surprise. So the screenshot that I'm drawing this from did not show all the URs in the box because there were some URs that were off the screen, obviously. But we looked at his collection as well, and his collection screenshot had Dion Quito the Boogie Master in it. So that is Mimi's ace monster. I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up right here, real quick. Let me see.
Do you think that confirms that we're going to be getting Mimi in our...
No.
In what?
No, I do not. And I'll talk about what I think it means in a moment. But for right now, let's talk about the card real quick. So this is a level 8 Aqua monster with 2,500 attack and 1,000 defense points. By discarding a card from your hand, you gain 1,000 life points once per turn. So literally, she just turns any card in your hand into Dion Quito the Cure Master. It's a decent card.
I remember there being a skill. Let me go find the skill. Like, I remember there being a skill.
There is a skill for her. It doesn't do that. Hold on. I'll pull it up. Okay, so there are 2 skills for her. The first one is, can be used during the turn you normal summon a light aqua type... Oh, no, it's only normal monster. Well, yeah. You can be used the turn you normal summon a light aqua type normal monster. Select light aqua type monsters on your field whose total levels equal 10 or less to gain 700 attack points permanently. This skill can only be used if you begin the duel with a deck that contains only aqua, normal, or level 6 or lower monsters, including at least 15 light aqua type monsters and at least 1 level 7 or higher aqua type effect monster, which is Dion Quito the Boogie Master. Then you also have another skill, which says, can be used before your normal draw if you control no monsters on your field and your opponent controls a level 7 or higher monster on turn 4 or onward. During your draw phase, instead of conducting your normal draw, add Dion Quito the Boogie Master and Seahorse Carrier from your deck to your hand. The skill can only be used once per duel. And Seahorse Carrier allows you to add another light attribute aqua monster from your graveyard to your hand, so you basically get this card. You can then immediately tribute both of them for Dion Quito the Boogie Master. But this skill is terrible because it says instead of conducting your normal draw. So instead of drawing 5 cards, you get these 2 cards. Then you get to pull out Dion Quito the Boogie Master, but you don't have any cards left in your hand to use her effect. And you also gave up 3 cards for this. So this skill is terrible.
Fair enough.
But this other skill is pretty good. All right. Okay. So yeah.
Who do you think these skills are for?
What?
I asked, who do you think these skills are for? Then, if you believe we're not getting Mimi, who else could these skills be for?
These skills are for Mimi. They're just being leaked a little early. So okay. So what I think is happening, I think that Mimi is going to be the October unlock because, well, we always get a new character from the new world in October. I think the reason Dion Quito the Boogie Master is in this box is they will be giving us a speed duel box in October.
That does seem fair because you can't give up both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't. They wouldn't be able to pull off like 2 months of Rush Duel cards. So, but this is really shocking, and this is leading to a very weird situation. Since they're going to be staggering the boxes to different boxes each month, this will become a trend where we see in like speed duel boxes random ace monsters, and we're thinking, what are these cards doing here? And then next month there's a Rush Duel or there's a speed duel character that's released whose ace monster was in that box from last month, and there's a Rush Duel, like a Rush box released alongside them. So like for example,
I like that theory.
So like for example, there might be a situation like maybe in July of next year, right? Like we come to July and it's supposed to be a Rush Duel, or sorry, it's supposed to be Speed Duel month, and we get like, let's say we get like I don't know, Aiden. We'll throw the GX fans a bone and say we get Aiden, and then or sorry, not Aiden, Adrian Gecko. We get Adrian Gecko in July, and then Adrian Gecko's box has Adrian Gecko's cards in it, but then it also randomly has um, Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. And we're like, what is Starving Venom Fusion Dragon here doing here? And next month in August we get a Rush Duel box and we get Yuri as an unlocked character. Like, this is the future of Duel Links, where you get all these cards out of order.
I do think that's the best way to do it because, like, the way they're doing it, some creators are gonna have to miss their unlock box. So doing it this way means we can get the cards and then at least have a teaser of what the character's gonna be.
I mean, kind of, but at the same time, it feels like it's going to take a lot of the hype out of the unlock. Like we're going to get to play Don Kita the Boogie Master for a full month before we even get to see Mimi.
But at the same time, how else are we gonna do these boxes? Since like you can't just give up months of either, or else one ladder dies, or well, the Speed Ruler ladder is not gonna die, but like
You're
you can't just give.
you're right, and that's like there's no good answer to this. The answer is that they shouldn't have both these apps in both these games in the same app. But I mean, everyone like every way that they could implement this, there's going to be cost. There's going to be some sort of negative benefit, and this is one of them. Like, I don't want Dion Kiso the Boogie Master before Mimi comes. I don't want Mimi to show up and me not to be able to spend her gems on her cards. I don't want to like be in a situation where Mimi comes and the only thing I'm looking forward to is her skills. That's the rerun event. It's gonna feel like a rerun event the first time that she comes out because her cards are already here. And like, how terrible is that?
That is fair, and I understand. Well, on the comment of separate acts, I feel like they don't want to take risks after cross duels, like
Yeah.
because cross duels flop so hard. I feel like they're not gonna be willing to take another risk with that. Because you can look at the Switch games too. Like I don't think those sell as well as they wanted it to, so that's why they're not willing to take as many risks.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see. Okay, let's get back to the skills real quick. Okay, so the Gavin skill is select one level 1 or level 6 normal monster with 0 attack points to gain attack points equal to its original defense points until the end of the turn. If that card is Urashima the Hermit, it gains an additional 800 attack points. The skill can only be used if you begin a duel with a deck that contains only monsters that are warriors, winged beasts, or fairies, and monsters with less than 1400 attack points. So that's really good. Urashima the Hermit has 2000 defense points and it's level 6. So importantly, this is a card that you can summon under the effect of Yami Ruler of the Dark Delayer. And then you can use the skill to make it 2800 attack points so you can beat over Yami Ruler of the Dark Delayer. Obviously, the drawback is that you pass to your opponent, and then Urashima the Hermit has 0 attack points, and you're going to get beaten over. This is definitely a skill that Gavin could use. It is reminiscent of Semi-Ruler of the Dark Summoner's effect, and we're not getting Semi-Ruler of the Dark Summoner yet, so it's cool that we have that skill to kind of keep the option open for right now until we get Semi-Ruler. Although I do think that once we get Semi-Ruler, that we're not going to use the skill at all anymore.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. We're not going to use this skill once we get Semi-Ruler.
So what are your thoughts on the skill for the Gavin deck? Do you think that people will play Urashima the Hermit? Do you think that the Kime Ruler skill is better? The Kime Ruler skill is during the turn you have normal summoned a level 7 or higher Earth or Dark Warrior monster. You can change one of your opponent's monsters from attack to defense position.
See, I was thinking about this skill earlier, but the Kinemon's the Kimi Ruler skill is, I feel like it's too good to pass up because like while Urashima has a strong defense, I feel like having that direct attack for Kimi Ruler is much better as it allows you to get more damage in.
All right, so let's pull that up on the screen for everybody else because I'm not going to be editing this video like I edited my other ones. Let's see. I'm just it's too late. Like like we only have a couple of days before this. I had to edit the other one all day, so I'm just gonna put this up as is. Let's see. Where is the other? Hold on. No leaks. The other skill is can be used to turn you have normal summon to level 7 or higher Dark or Earth Warrior monster. Select one face-up monster your opponent controls, change its defense position, and then Kime
Oh,
Ruler.
it's once per turn. It's once per. That makes the skill even better than I originally thought.
Yes, and then Kime Ruler the Dark Raider, for those of you who are wondering what Gold is talking about. If your opponent has no attack position monsters on the turn, you normal summon this card, send the top card of your deck to the graveyard, and this turn, Kime Ruler of the Dark Raider can attack directly. It has 2,500 attack points. So, this is a card that is extremely good. It is very good specifically with another Gavin card, which we might not get, which is called Blazing Chestnut. If you have a face-up warrior monster, you can send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. Then, if the monster is sent to the graveyard by this effect, one face-up warrior on your field gains attack equal to the level of the monster sent to the graveyard times 300 until the end of the turn, and you take the same amount as damage. So, if you play Blazing Chestnut, you get to mill the top card of your deck. If it's like a level 8 warrior monster, then Kime Ruler gains 2,400 attack points, and you take 2,400 damage, and then you can attack directly for 4,900.
I feel like that would warrant him running a bit more high level monsters if we got that card, because then you could use that card and either mill a monster, or if you get lucky and mill a high monster, you can direct them attack for like. Hold on, I got calculated. But like 300 times 8, that would be 2,400 more attack points. Like
Yes.
if you mill Yami Ruler, that you could attack directly for pretty much over 4K.
4,900, yes, sir. And the only problem with this is that Blazing Chestnut, you don't get to see the top card of your deck. So if you activate it and you send a spell or trap card, you literally do nothing.
I feel like that's worth the risk, because at the same time, you're gonna be able to attack directly and get nearly an OTK.
This is also not a hard once per turn, so you could literally use it twice, and if you get lucky, and then just like attack directly for 6,000.
That would be actually be pretty interesting.
Yep, we'll have to see. This could be one of Gavin's level up rewards. We haven't seen it in the box, so it would be weird for him not to get this card, especially if they're pushing Kime Ruler. So we will see if this is one of his cards. It would definitely kind of be in line with the other cards. Like Climax Finale is meant to be burst damage. Road Magic Explosion is meant to be burst damage. Blazing Chestnut is meant to be burst damage. So it would make sense if all three characters got a burst damage card as one of their level up cards to kind of balance the meta out. We'll see.
That would be pretty fun. That would actually be a pretty fun idea.
Okay.
But yeah, I feel like we would have to figure out which skill would be the better for the two, because I am not completely sure myself.
Yeah, we'll have to see. And then for Prima Gitarna, there's another skill as well. So obviously there's the Climax Finale skill that you saw in the duel earlier, but then there's also another skill where once per turn, you can pay 500 life points. Then select one level 5 or higher monster that was normal summon this turn. It gains 400 attack until the end of this turn. And then if the monster you selected is Prima Gitarna, the Shining Superstar, you can also add one level 2 Psychic Normal monster from your graveyard to your hand.
I feel like it isn't better than the Climax Finale, because that searches from the deck was not made cards in Rush Duels can do. So I feel like you'd be missing out on that if you use this skill.
I agree. I do think that the Climax Finale skill is probably better, but again, this skill is fine. It's good enough. And the benefit of this skill, obviously, is that not only do you buff your Prima Gitarna, but by returning a Psychic monster to your hand, that gives you another monster to benefit from Prima Gitarna's AoE effect. Remember, Prima Gitarna's effect gives all monsters you control 900 extra attack points. So having an extra monster on your field, because you return it from your graveyard to your hand, gives you an additional, like, if we chose Kitar, for example, which has 700 attack points, that's an additional 1,600 points of damage you could push to your opponent. So That is somewhat comparable to getting a free copy of Climax Finale, although it is not comparable to getting a free copy of Lullabind. So I do think that the Climax Finale skill is better simply because it has that flexibility of either giving you a defensive or offensive tool. But I could be wrong. We'll have to see. And that should be basically all of the new stuff. So, Gold, what are your thoughts? You've seen now all 4 monsters summoning animations. You've seen skills from all 4 characters. You've seen most of the cards from the new box, including a lot of the URs. What do you think?
Pretty fun meta. Like this first month is gonna be a pretty fun meta. I do think that like Yuga and Luca are gonna be the top 2 right now. Because despite losing to like to Phantom Bind, he still has a lot of options. And Yuga, of course, his deck is already like extremely good, especially with Mystic Dealer.
Well, and there's also the option for Luke to simply use Dragonic Slayer to get rid of Phantom Bind before he attacks.
That is true. That is true. So I feel like neither of them are going to be lacking in options. I feel like those 2 are going to be the best at the start. And I feel like Roman is going to be like tier 2 under them.
Well, let me remind you of one thing. Everyone is going to get a free copy of the deck that includes Lightning Bolt Condor and Darkness Crested Hawk, which gain power from facing light monsters. And Multi-Strike Dragon Dragius is a light monster innately, whether you use the skill or not.
That is fair.
So Darkness Crested Hawk will always defeat Multi-Strike Dragon Dragius in battle, whether you have an ability to activate the skill or not. That is interesting that they've decided to go that route where they give Yuga a skill that specifically allows him to beat Luke more easily. Will that impact the meta a lot? I have to assume that it will, simply because, again, the deck is free. Just like how Odd Eyes impacted the meta a lot simply because so many people had the deck. I feel like the Lightning Bolt Condor deck will be a significant part of the meta, and downplaying it isn't a smart idea. So I feel like everyone is going to have this bare minimum to pass of, if you lose to the Lightning Bolt Condor deck, you don't get to play the game. So are the other decks good enough to beat Lightning Bolt Condor with the Lightning Shift skill? We'll have to see. But for right now, I'm thinking that the Lightning Bolt Condor deck will be one of the best characters. And then we will we'll probably see the burn version of Seven's Road in the meta. I don't think we will see the Dark Magician deck for right now. I don't think there are enough cards to support it.
We will not see it. We will not see Dark Magician. I feel like it takes too many resources compared to the other decks.
And I think for right now, we will probably see the Luke deck focus on the Earth version that prioritizes Dragonic Slayer and Dragorite, as opposed to the Dark version that focuses on Dragon Soldier of Darkness and the Sports Dragon Pitcher and the Sports Dragon Slugger. That deck could come later, but for right now, I don't think it's going to see a whole lot of play. As far as the Gavin skill, it's difficult for me to assess. Those 2 skills are much closer in terms of their viability. But
that is true.
With the cards that we've received so far, I do lean towards the Kime Ruler version of the deck being better. Especially if we get Blazing Chestnut as one of Gavin's level up skills, there's no question. If we get Blazing Chestnut, then the Kime Ruler deck is going to be the best version of the Gavin deck. But if we don't, then it will depend on what sorts of traps Gavin gets, because he'll need to have some way to live through Urashima the Hermit remaining on the field in attack position after his turn is over.
That is fair.
If Gavin gets some sort of trap that either halves the damage he takes during battle or maybe prevents it entirely, then we could see the Urashima the Hermit deck being extremely good. And then as far as Romin, I think it's not. There's no question. The Climax Finale skill gives you way too much advantage. It's essentially like drawing a 6th card every turn, and the only thing better than drawing 5 cards every turn is drawing 6 cards every turn. So, all right.
I do agree.
Well, thank you very much for joining me, Gold. I'm going to put this video up tonight, so you can look forward to seeing it. And I hope
Oh,
you have a wonderful night.
you have a wonderful night too.
And for everyone else, this is Sarafi. I was thrilled to have you all with me.